Recreation Program. Increase the community's economic prosperity through increased property values, expansion of the local tax base, increased tourism, the attraction and retention of business, and crime reduction, and whereas parks and natural recreation areas improve water quality, protect groundwater, prevent flooding, provide vegetative buffer to development, improve the quality of air we breathe, and produce habitat for wildlife. And whereas our parks and natural recreation areas ensure the ecological beauty of our community and provide a place for children and adults to connect with nature and recreate outdoors. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Chris Morrow, Mayor of the City of Gardner, Kansas, do hereby proclaim July as Park and Recreation Month. And you know, I think that, you know, we have one example of the quality programs that, you know, and quality employees that we have with the Parks and Recreation Program. But, you know, earlier this year, it bears mentioning again, we were Blue Chip Award winners, and specifically for, you know, health and wellness for the community. And this year's theme of Out is In really kind of ties to the reason that Blue Chip recognized us in the first place. One of 4 communities in the state, right, Jeff?
That's right.
Okay. And hundreds applied for it, so we're in good shape there. But thank you for that. With that being the case, we're going to move on to public comments. Members of the public are welcome to use this time to make comments about city matters or items on the agenda that are not part of a public hearing. If you have public comments that you would like to make, I'd ask that you step to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and be heard. Hey, Richard, I don't know if you were planning on addressing undercover or not.
Well, you'll have to forgive my messy hair.
That's okay.
My name's Rich Melton. I live at 521 East Hawthorne. Well, I'm here again about the same thing I'm here about most every time. And basically, I know we've talked about intentions before. Councilman Fodovich has brought up his intentions. No one knows his intentions. To my knowledge, he still hasn't revealed those intentions to anyone except for the press, who won't tell anybody what they are either. I know that people have asked Councilman, and he has not given them an answer. So those people that I guess have gotten an answer are a select few. I still don't know anything, I haven't heard anything, but I would like to ask Councilman Fodovich, even though I can't ask a question, I'll just present it. Council, where are your children going to go to school next year? Because I think that, to me, talks about where we're actually living. Because if there are children enrolled in another district, and that's what I'd really like to know, I mean, which district will they be in? Does that, to council, justify living in another town? So
my guess is that if he wants to address the question, if you hang around for council updates, that would probably be the time.
All right. Have a great evening, council. Thank you.
Thank you, Rich. Anyone else?
Robert Page, 249 West Park Street, Gardner.
Good evening, Robert.
There's a couple of things. You people are fighting the electric, like wanting to get that money back into your hands. But it was in staff's hands for years. And during that time, the profits all went into the general fund, and it was spent other places. The electric was downhill quite a bit. We had lines in this town that should have been replaced 20 years ago. And they never had the money because they were spending it else places. When they turned it over to these people to run it, they got money, and you can go drive up and down the streets and see where they've replaced lines all over. We don't have near the outages we used to have, and they're spending the money and getting it spent to upgrade our electric. Now, what left from that, it could be gone back. It's always gone back into the general fund and is spent for other things besides electric. And we've had a lot of trouble before with the electric and storms and things. But I wanted to bring that to your attention, and I think that, and I've noticed you're going to spend a lot of money on investigating and checking different things. Did you ever think about checking the police department and finding out how many men you are short for the town of your size? You're 11 officers short. It seems like when in the offices or anything, if they get somebody short, they usually replace them. I think it's time we upgrade our police department, but I think public safety is just as important to these people as swimming pools and other things. It's nice to have them, but as long as I can remember, the pools and things never broke even. They were always it paid one time right after you put up all the new stuff, it broke even that year. And I don't know if it's done it since. And it's a good thing to have for the kids, but I think you need to look out for safety of the people in this town and get that dwindled down over the years. You can't do it all in 1 year, I know that. But if you put on 2 or 3 officers a year, you might keep up with the in the amount of people that come into Gardner. But I haven't heard a thing about it in the last few years of increasing officers. In fact, here a few years ago, when they lost an officer, he couldn't replace them. They were short, but they replaced everybody in the office. When somebody left, they found somebody to take their place in City Hall, but they could never take care of the police. They had to get along with what they got. You had a good bunch of people in there. You still got a lot of them in there yet. They got things done with fewer officers. But we could stop a lot of this stop sign running, speeding on residential areas, and everything if you had more officers on duty. You did get a couple of cars this year, I see, for bad weather, which I think is a good thing. But I think you need to, while you're figuring on a budget, maybe not run so many surveys. Take some of that money to help get more officers to protect us. And I think that there'll be a lot of other people who feel the same way. And thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Robert.
Hello, Debbie Hickman, 848 South Sumac. I realize this isn't the question and answer portion, so just stop me if I said something that's incorrect. Tonight, we've been presented with a proposed budget. That's my understanding it will be published Wednesday? Is that correct? Okay. I guess, for me, this time frame, I'm going to have to kind of echo Councilman Fodovich here a little bit. The time frame for presenting it to the public versus the time it's published as a proposed budget gives me, a concerned citizen, only until tomorrow's deadline for the newspaper to raise any concerns I have. Or to even research. I understand the concerns or the statements of one individual does not make the difference in a budget. But for me, it's about the process and the opportunity to have my little say in the process. It seems like we're running so close on time frames continually, and I don't understand this. As a CPAC member, the Comprehensive Plan member, I'm going to be asked to make a decision before I see a final version of the plan. I read every single page multiple times, have spent many hours reviewing the plan, but yet the time frame is so close that I'm going to be asked to approve this comprehensive plan from a memo citing what the corrections are going to be versus seeing how those corrections in a memo actually translate to the revised and final plan. I have difficulty with that. I would like to see us not run so close on deadlines that people like myself, believe it or not, who do look at things, whether you think people don't, there are some of us that do, not the expectation to change everything, but just be part of being able to be heard as part of a process. I think I've told Mayor Chris that I appreciate the fact that in the majority of the things that are going on,